AI is the future of music production, songwriting, mixing, and mastering, but not exactly in the same way that people in the online music space seem to think it is. I think there's a possibility that AI in the music making process can be a good thing, but there are some concerns that I don't hear enough musicians talking about. But before we get started, if you end up getting any value throughout this video, consider hitting that like button and subscribing if you haven't already. Let's talk about AI-powered plugins because I think we're already starting to see the effects of these. The line is a bit blurry here because on one hand you have something like iZotope Ozone, and on the other hand you have something like Waves IDX. Both can be very useful tools, but the difference in execution here is what could be a long-term concern. Ozone uses AI to analyze your track and make specific adjustments using EQ, compression, and so on within separate modules in order to spit out what it thinks is a good master. Whereas IDX focuses on intelligent dynamics with some visual cue to what's going on under the hood, but not much. So for someone who's still learning this stuff, they're both great tools. But I think Ozone actually has the potential of helping somebody understand exactly what's going on. For example, when you click Learn in Ozone, it analyzes your track and tells you what it's checking for in simple terms, but then you can go in and see exactly what it did in each module and make any adjustments you want to. The problem with IDX in this context is that people may throw this on a track and it does the job, but they don't really know what's going on besides turning the magic knob on the screen. It's kind of like when you're learning a new skill and the guy who's supposed to be teaching you just ends up fixing all the problems for you. I think there will only be more plugins like this moving forward, and it'll eventually put you into one of two categories. Category A, you can use these AI plugins, but you have no idea about the fundamentals of mixing or whatever you're trying to do with these plugins. Or category B, you can make use of these AI tools, but don't necessarily have to use them because at one point or another, you learned how to do this stuff without them. But I feel the same way about AI taking jobs in the music industry. People are already using AI mixing software instead of hiring a mix engineer. Inevitably, rappers are going to start having AI make them instrumentals, robbing beat makers everywhere of, tens of dollars. In fact, years ago when I was just starting out, I was able to pay just $10 for an instant master on Lander's website. So it's not really a matter of if AI is going to be taking these jobs, it already is technically. In fact, the entire lo-fi producer community is arguably more at risk than anybody else right now. In this case, it's more than just AI mixing and mastering. That genre specifically is built around emulation and simplicity, so there are songs on Spotify right now that are in these lo-fi playlists that are completely AI generated because they're such an easy target. I think what we have going for us in this regard is that people are genuinely getting tired of the AI slop that comes in the form of AI music or even AI artwork. No matter how much this technology improves, I wonder if these early experiences will leave a lasting bad impressions on the general population. And that's not even to mention the ethical dilemma of it all. Now, I'm not going to bore you with another rant about AI training on copyrighted material or whether or not you can copyright an AI work itself. But another issue that sours the entire AI experience for listeners or even musicians looking to hire you is the concern of AI taking up tons of physical space via these large data centers, which is something I didn't even think or know about until recently. Though I should also note here that things like cloud storage are stored in these spaces as well. So like your family photos, emails you've been hoarding, or even email signatures apparently. These things all contribute to that same problem. But as far as AI taking music industry jobs and all that stuff that I mentioned earlier, this really just means that like any other time in the history of music making, this could be an opportunity to stand out. I know there will be plenty of people who will disagree with me here, but in my opinion, AI will never be able to replace the actual experience of working with a human being. For example, when Walmart started introducing self-checkout machines in their stores, people hated it. But for an antisocial coffee-addicted musician such as myself, it meant that I could actually check out faster than if a cashier was there. But to this day, 12 or so years later, people are still mad and refuse to use self-checkout. And I think more than the cover of I'm not getting paid to check myself out, people are just made for human interaction. And for some people, it's just easier to trust that a fellow man will do a better job at fulfilling your need than a machine would. I believe that where we're headed, you're gonna have to learn to embrace AI in your own work. And you might be thinking, Caleb, that's completely contradictory to everything that you just said in this video, but hear me out. Machines do not get tired. I, on the other hand, get tired rather easily. So how can I use AI in my workflow to utilize these advantages while retaining my ability to be creative and connect with people? I think this is where the industry is ultimately going. You'll have creatives that are able to use AI for boring, repetitive tasks that everyone once had to do on their own, leaving more time and energy to focus on actually making music or developing certain skills. Maybe you could prompt AI to export and organize files from your session in a specific way, or even outside of your DAW, you could have AI sort your emails or files, suggest responses based on previous interactions. I really believe that's where this is going, and if you're not keeping up with this technology, then it may be difficult to stand out amongst the people who are. As always, I want to hear your thoughts on this topic in the comments down below, even if you completely disagree with everything that I just said. I'm pretty open-minded and I just enjoy having these discussions with other musicians. Also, today I have some new gear arriving from Zounds, so there's going to be several reviews and shootouts for that gear in the coming weeks. So once again, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss those videos. So yeah, big shout out to Zounds. If you're looking to buy any gear, click that link in my description where you can get the gear that you need, and it's a great way to support this channel. And if you want to watch some more of my videos, maybe start with this one right here. And as always, thanks for hanging out.